audio player class not initialized. Oh, and I have a little error here where the end is not in the right spot. Okay, so now that we have the onEntered logic done, we're going to come down here and we're going to do the onExited logic, which is kind of going to be the same thing. So it's going to go into the same if, where we say if root.onEntered image does not equal blank. And if that's the case, then we're going to turn the button image visibility to false. Then we're going to come out of that and go into another if. And this is going to say if the root.onExited audio does not equal, and oops, we're going to go into this audio file again, which is pretty much blank. If it does not equal blank, then we're going to go into another if, which is if the type of audio player does not equal undefined, and audio player does not equal null. And I forgot to parenthesize these. There we go. And then that's a squirrely bracket. Then the last if the type of audio player dot play audio is equal to a function, then we go into that and we say audio player dot play audio, and then we add in the project file location plus the root dot on exited audio. Okay, then we're going to come on top of this and do an else statement here, and this is going to say the same thing as the other one. I'm just going to copy these down. And right here, we're going to do an else statement for that, and that's going to be this guy. Okay, so now we have the onEntered and exited audio. Let's go ahead and work on the pressed and released. Okay, so we're going to come down here, and we're going to do the onPressed. And we're going to say if root.onPressed action does not equal null. And we're going to go into that. Alright, then we're going to go into here, and we're going to say try. And we're going to say root.onPressed action. And we're going to come down here and say catch. And then from here, we will say do a print. And there's the debug for that. Okay, then outside of that if, we're going to do another one, and we're going to say, if the root dot change screen does not equal blank, which is that last variable we made. So if the root dot change screen does not equal empty, then what we're going to do is we're going to go into another if, which is kind of like these guys here where we're checking the class. We're going to say if the type of screens, which is that class we made, the screen changer, where we defined it in the main as screens, does not equal quote unquote undefined, and screens does not equal null. So if it exists, then we're going to go into that and say if the type of screens dot show screen is equal to a function. If it doesn't, then we go into the else. Else doesn't have this guy on it. And we're going to say that I think I'm just going to go ahead and copy these down. And this actually doesn't have string on it. I am making a ton of mistakes. Yeah, this isn't the play audio, this is the show screen. Then we're going to come down here into another else. And we're going to pretty much say the same thing. Except this is going to be the screens class. Okay. So now we need to have logic for if there's audio for it. So we're going to say if the root.onPressed audio, and pretty much the same as this. If it doesn't equal blank, then we're going to go into that. Alright, so if the onPressed audio isn't blank, then we're going to come into this with another one and say if the type of audio player is not equal to undefined, and audio player does not equal null, then we're going to go into that. Then we're going to go into that and again say if the type of audio player dot play audio is equal to a function, then we go into here and we play that audio player dot play audio, pass in the project file location, concatenate on the onPressed audio. Then we're going to come down here with the else, and we're going to say play audio function not found within the audio player class. And then we come down to here, and we again say that the audio player class not initialized. And don't forget your string. Okay, now that this is done, we're going to do the onReleased. And onReleased is a lot easier. And that is, again, the if the root.onReleased audio does not equal empty and we go into that, and again if the type of audio player does not equal undefined and audio player does not equal null, and we go into that if, and again one more audio player dot play audio is equal to a function, Then we go into the audio player, play audio, project file location plus the on-released audio. Then we're going to also add the else statements for these. And the last one. Alright, and that should be the end of our button. I'm going to just kind of glance through this all real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, actually found a few mistakes. First one is right here. And the second couple are... those need to be equal. Oh, and the last thing we need to do is add root there. Oh, it also appears that I forgot to put the string in right here. Also, I made one more mistake. On-entered image is not actually blank. It's same as the rest. It's going to be basically, this is blank if it hasn't been changed, which is just looking at the icons folder, nothing's actually set to it. If you had it left as blank, I believe it would error, but this is the correct way to do it. We're also going to want to take this same thing here and move it down to the on exited portion of this as well. Okay, now that we have transparent button all finished up, let's go ahead and run QtDesign Studio. And you probably won't see it showing up in your recent. You're going to have to go ahead and open this because we renamed everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. And you will be greeted with an error because we have the Python part of it being imported. So I'm just going to come down here and code block this out. And we'll go ahead and we'll bring this in. Okay, so now as you can see, we have our custom button and our transparent button. Let's go ahead and just move this over here. I'm going to go ahead and drag in our transparent button. So now if I go into the properties tab here and I scroll down to the exposed custom properties, you can kind of see we have all of our properties here. We can change the screen by putting in a screen name. We can also add audio. Speaking of audio, let's go ahead and create the folder for that. And you're also going to need the prerequisite, which I'll also have. Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead and close out of this. And we're going to go ahead and add these to the directory. So I'm going to go into the QML, into the audio, and I'm going to go ahead and throw in this tick hover sound and this button click. So now we have two audio files that can play when something happens with the button. So I'm going to go ahead and open QtDesign Studio again. And I'm going to go into the navigator and select the button. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start filling this out so I can kind of go to my assets page to get an idea. And audio, we have button click sound. So when you enter the box, I want to play tick hover sound.mp3, and when I press on it, I also want to play button click sound.mp3, and the image, we're going to want to go into icons, and we're going to want bluemist.png. There we go. Okay, so now I'm actually going to go up here and code block this out again. Oops. And expose this part of it. And then from here, we're just going to go ahead and launch the main.